boy's mind was full of questions, so many, like tiny seed growing in a garden. He looked for answers in the wind, through the trees, and in the songs of birds, but he couldn't find them there. Something new had awakened inside him, the power to think deeply. It pulled him to search for bigger and more important answers. Sitting quietly under the trees was no longer enough. With strong steps and a curious heart, he walked through the forest. The smell of the wet ground and the soft bend of tree branches came with him. After a while, at the end of a narrow path full of dry leaves, he saw an old, beautiful building. Its tall stone pillars showed it had been standing for many, many years. Green vines climbed its walls. Everything was quiet and peaceful. Like time, it slowed down there. In a corner of the porch, an old wise man was sitting quietly. His white beard rested on his chest, and the lines on his face looked like those on old wood, showing a life of thinking, learning, and kindness. His deep eyes seemed to see right into the heart. The boy, feeling full of respect, stepped forward and gently said hello. The wise man opened his eyes and smiled kindly. A sweet breeze played with the leaves, and a soft rustling sound filled the air. A quiet calm surrounded them, like music you could feel but not hear. The boy, still wondering about something important, finally asked with a soft voice, "Wise one, I saw so many beautiful things in nature. I saw colors, I heard the birds sing, and I felt the wind on my skin. But deep inside me, I felt something more, wondering, something that gave meaning to all of it. Is this what people call the mind? And how does it work? How does it help us?" The wise man smiled again, as if he had heard this question many times before. In a warm and gentle voice he said, "My child, what you felt in nature is the first step in understanding. Your senses, your eyes, ears, and skin are like doors to the world. But it is your mind that connects all these things and gives them meaning. The mind is like a light that helps us see clearly and understand truth. But remember, the mind has two wings, thinking and doing." The boy's eyes lit up with interest. "What do you mean by thinking and doing?" he asked. The wise man looked out toward the golden sunset and then said, "When the mind wants to know something, like learning about God or how the world works, we call that the thinking mind. But when the mind wants to help us act the right way, like being kind, fair, or patient, we call that the doing mind. A doing mind helps us live in a good way." The boy thought for a moment and then said, "So they are like two wings on a bird. We need both wings to fly." The wise man smiled with joy. "Yes, exactly," he said. "All learning, like science and big ideas, come from the thinking mind. That is what made you ask big questions when you were walking in nature." The boy nodded slowly. "Now I understand. When I was in the forest, my eyes and ears didn't just stop at seeing and hearing. My mind put everything together and gave it meaning. But I also understand now that just knowing something is not enough. I have to live by it." The wise man looked at him with love and said, "Yes, my child. Knowing something without doing it is like a seed that never grows, and doing things without knowing why is like a ship with no direction. But someone who uses both minds to learn and to act will grow and become the best they could be." The boy felt like a light had turned on inside his heart. He smiled and stood up with respect. As he looked out at the glowing sky, He walked forward. This time he didn't only look with his eyes, but also with his mind and his heart.